Tzu Chi volunteers in the Philippines care for displaced Ormoc Da Ai villagers. Some netizens support a grandmother who sells red bean pastry to pay for her son's medical expenses. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. Typhoon Kai-Tak swept through the Philippines, bringing great damage to many provinces. Among the affected areas, Ormoc Da Ai village also suffered a severe flood. More than 1,000 households in this village have been housed in temporary shelters. Recently, volunteers from Tzu Chi Philippines chapter flew from Manila to the disaster areas to care for the flood victims.
Tzu Chi volunteers flew from Manila to Cebu and then from Cebu to Ormoc. As soon as the disaster victims saw the volunteers, they could not hold back their tears.
My husband was almost killed by the flash flood. Fortunately, someone found him and gave him a hand. He drifted ashore with a plastic bucket.
Yun ang sinakyan na padulong 3-in-1. Wala na kami wala natitira. Lahat ka lang.
All of my belongings were destroyed. I feel heartbroken.
Sakit.
Volunteers let the affected residents know that they can feel for their moods.
Sakit sa among kasing-kasing kay love na mo namo ang ato ang great love village diha, di ba?
We feel heartbroken because we love the Da Ai village, which is built with our efforts, tears, and sweat.
Volunteers from Palo have been cooking in a temporary shelter for several days after the disaster.
Although we have been affected by the typhoon, we think Ormoc needs us. At least we can still get through this tough time.
Currently, 1,549 households from the Da Ai village have been housed in the junior high school and the health center. Stepping into the Da Ai village, the thing the volunteers want to do the most is to give local residents encouragement.
If it is not because of Typhoon Haiyan, we would not develop a friendship. We can feel for your suffering. You must be strong and do not lose hope.
With volunteers' help, many villagers have returned home from the temporary shelter to clean up debris after the disaster.
We have never experienced such a flood in the Da Ai village since we moved here 2 years ago. This time the flood was caused by the heavy rain, which lasted for 3 days. I love the Da Ai village. This is our home, and I never think of moving out of here.
The most important thing is that we are still alive and we have a home to return. Although our home was flooded, we still have the house to live and we can rebuild our life. I believe as long as we help each other, we can get back on our feet for sure.
In Serbia, Tzu Chi volunteers recently held a Tzu Chi year-end blessing ceremony for the stranded refugees. 12 Tzu Chi volunteers from various countries have worked together with local volunteers to distribute winter clothing to refugees. Among them, one volunteer has come to Serbia for the 5th time, and she said that her heart really goes out to the refugees. In the cold morning, the refugee camp is already crowded. For breakfast, there's boiled egg, yogurt, orange, and fresh bread.
This is my 5th visit in Serbia. I come with joy every time. My heart really goes out to them.
I hope to deliver the Master's love to every person who is suffering so they can live peacefully.
I am happy to give without asking for anything in return.
As it is freezing in the refugee camp, this little girl led the volunteers to the tent she's staying at. Her mother feeds her with chocolate, and she also does the same, showing their love for each other. As Tzu Chi volunteers give out winter clothing, a Serbia volunteer has much to say.
I really enjoy working with Tzu Chi volunteers as we can really help the poor people in the world.
Meanwhile, at Tzu Chi's year-end blessing ceremony, the MC is a man from Afghanistan. He's wearing the jacket Tzu Chi volunteers gave out last year. During the ceremony, a middle-aged woman started crying. Her husband passed away 2 years ago, and she has been staying at the refugee camp with her 3 sons. She's deeply moved by the volunteers' love.
My husband passed away 2 years ago. We've been at the refugee camp for just a month. I am very moved to see people coming to help us.
Thank you. Thank you.
In the harsh winter, the volunteers have brought them much-needed love and warmth. Puerto Rico was heavily hit by Hurricane Maria this September, and some of the hurricane victims were placed in New York. Tzu Chi New York chapter has been giving out cash cards for these Puerto Rican hurricane victims since December 2nd.
So before Hurricane Maria came, there was also Hurricane Irma, and after the 3rd day after the storm, since we didn't have cell phone reception, I couldn't really contact my parents. I didn't know how they were. In Aguadilla, it was just like literally on the streets, every electrical post was down, like all of them, they were all down. It was a lot of destruction, a lot of small businesses couldn't open.
We lost everything in our house. The whole place is flooded. It's very scary. We can't stay inside the house because water is everywhere. The roof was blown open and the beds are broken. We can only leave. This really helps a lot. This money, I can use it to buy clothes and foods. Also some supplies for the children and medications.
Back home in Puerto Rico, what I was doing at the end was mainly freelance makeup and photography. That industry got kind of like postponed. Nobody was really looking for the type of work I do, so I just decided that New York was a good move. And I'm honestly just very thankful about everybody who's trying to help Puerto Rico in any shape or form.
Tzu Chi has helped everyone in need regardless of skin colors or nationalities. I feel very good. I believe you are all good people because you are all very kind to us.
When a Tzu Chi volunteer returned to Taiwan, he joined the sutra copying class and decided to start a similar course when returning to the United States. At the beginning, this course was just 30 minutes in length, but now stretches to 50 minutes as each participant feels the meditative effects of this practice.
Picking up the brush, all focus is going into copying the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings. It's a very meditative process.
All of us haven't picked up the calligraphy brush for many years, but I remember the first time I copied these sutras that my heart calmed the first time I began to write on paper.
Huang Fengli once used a pen to copy sutras, but is finding the brush to be more challenging and meditative.
At the beginning, we did it for 30 minutes, but then we extended to 50 minutes. But to tell you the truth, I did not want it to stop. I just wanted to keep on copying these sutras.
The Tzu Chi El Monte Service Center holds weekly study sessions and has added this sutra copying activity. The founder of the class, Wei Lixing, personally joined such a class in Taiwan and was motivated to inspire more people to participate later.
Activities can sometimes light our mood and make us feel better or help us overcome setbacks. After meditation, some more problems can lessen.
In the past, sutras were copied as a means of learning the Dharma, and now a similar practice is still continuing as a means of passing down the Dharma.
Urban renewal, no matter the scope or size, has a major effect upon the landscape of a city. At the moment, Keelung's Zhengbing Harbor is undergoing such a transformation, with old houses slowly being transformed and renovated. This is changing the overall landscape. Here's our in-depth report.
Keelung is now a very active international cruise terminal. The area near the cruise terminal is quite popular now. Zhenbing Harbor, which was the first offshore fishing port in Taiwan, retaining all of the charm of an old fishing village.
However, from the street, one only sees old houses which block the view of the turquoise sea.
In the past, residents here used to put the back of the house here and entrance on the street. I think this is wrong, as this area should be the entrance, so we can open it up and get this beautiful panoramic view.
This business owner turned the entrance around 180 degrees and used large windows and doors to create a sort of maritime feeling. After years of working in the art market in the United States, Darwin returned to his hometown Keelung 4 years ago to buy an old building and bring it back to life.
Originally, it was just sheet metal. There are 3 pillars and the sheet metal was erected on both sides, and one could bring the boat and engine into this dry dock.
Just like the canals in Amsterdam, these old boathouses next to the main fishing port are taking on a new look. The key to success and integration with the fishing port, as well as the seawater and the salty sea breeze. Darwin not only changed the appearance of this boathouse, but also the perception of residents being separated from the water.
We are proposing the introduction of water-based taxes to the Keelung city government, much like the Venice. However, these types of things must be slowly approved by the Port Authority Bureau, as the port is not part of the city.
How to effectively maintain the local cultural identity and history can be done by limiting the height of tall buildings. There are many international examples of how this could be implemented.
Above Philadelphia City Hall, there is a statue of William Penn. In the old downtown area of Philadelphia, there was a regulation that no building could exceed the height of William Penn's head. Later, the city created a special district where it permitted high-rise buildings. This allowed them to preserve the old part of the city and also encourage new development.
Similar building height restrictions apply in Kyoto, Japan. Here, buildings cannot rise more than 20 meters off the ground so as not to damage the skyline. Even in a densely populated Hong Kong, high-rise buildings clumped together are strictly controlled by the local government, as the skyline is thought to be one of Hong Kong's unique features.
Buildings in front cannot block the view of those in the back, so there is a very delicate balance when it comes to urban planning.
In Europe, urban landscapes are full of creativity.
When we were doing the urban landscape, we shouldn't just think about completing construction. As Munster is a good example of asking the residents for their opinions.
The urban landscape shouldn't only be enjoyed by a small number of people, as it needs to achieve the consensus of everyone to protect the precious skyline, as well as inspire an endless stream of creative ideas to become a true asset to the community.
In Taichung, Taiwan, 73-year-old Mrs. Shen makes a living by selling red bean pastry. As she has to pay for her rent and her son's medical expenses with a meager income, she works long hours. After learning about her story, some netizens posted images of her selling these pastries in freezing weather, calling for everyone to support her. I saw the information on the internet. I want to help her so that she can be off work and return home earlier.
Business is bustling today as the senior works non-stop to make pastries while joking with her customers. 73-year-old Mrs. Shen has been selling pastries for many years. She works every day from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. She has to pay her rent and eldest son's medical expenses with a meager income.
He suffers from a chronic disease. His eyes are swollen, but he feels better now.
Mrs. Shen's son is unable to work, so he relies on Shen to make a living. When she does not have enough money, she has to borrow money from her friends, but she is always optimistic.
I feel very fortunate since I can eat, sleep, and work. I don't think my life is miserable. I'm willing to do and also feel happy to bear.
She is active and she gets along well with students. She has a young heart.
After she is off work at night, she still goes to do recycling. She sleeps only 3 to 4 hours a day. Despite this situation, she feels content as she says she's still able to work.
In Myanmar, volunteers in Yangon will arrange Tzu Chi training activities on holidays. Recently, they brought more than 10 Tzu Chis to a nursing home to care for the seniors there. Let's join them there. Leading the seniors to sing and move around, the Tzu Chis have brought energy and vitality to the nursing home.
I feel very happy. I feel that I've returned to the good old days. We look forward to the visits of Tzu Chis.
16 Myanmar Tzu Chis have come to a nursing home in Yangon to care for the residents. They've also learned about how the seniors long for care.
I seldom talk with my grandmother at home. After caring for the grandpas and grandmas here, I've realized that seniors really long for the love of their families. Seeing how joyful they are, I feel happy too.
Everyone felt very happy while interacting with the grandpas and grandmas. We will find time to come accompany them. I'll also take care of my grandparents at home.
At the end of the visit, the Tzu Chis also bring love and warmth to the seniors who suffer from mobility issues. They have also learned to care for their own grandparents at home. Indonesia's Dinamika Elementary School is located in Batagabon district, the largest garbage hill in the area. 90% of the students' families scavenge for a living. Recently, 40 Tzu Chis went to visit them.
This is Bantargebang, Indonesia. It's also where the city's garbage ends up at. The residents here scavenge for a living. They put their hopes in Dinamika Elementary School. This school doesn't charge any fee but offers high-quality teachers from national schools. Indonesia Tzu Chis have often come to visit as well, playing games with students. This time the theme is "What is your wish?" and the children have touching answers.
I want to become a teacher so I can teach the children to be smart.
I want to become a teacher as well because many people in Indonesia can't go to school.
Students here cherish the chance to go to school. The 40 Tzu Chis can also feel their happiness.
Our goal is to share happiness because their living environment is not good, so we are here to share our knowledge and some supplies.
I'm thankful for everything I have. It makes me want to help them express their gratitude.
Tzu Chi and volunteers not only give the students second-hand clothes and school supplies, they also deliver their sincere wishes.
In the Philippines, Tzu Chi collaborated with the city government of Tacloban to promote environmental protection. To repay the love they have received from Tzu Chi in their time of need, many local residents have begun their recycling mission. Let's take a look.
While volunteers work together to put up the banner of Tzu Chi recycling point, the residents take out their saved resources to sort. Tzu Chi collaborates with the city governments to promote an environmental protection program. The income they earn from selling the recyclables will be used for charitable purposes.
We do this for our environmental protection program. Normally, these resources are thrown away, which blocks our drainage systems and leads to flooding when it rains heavily.
Of the residents participants in the recycling program, they know personally how Tzu Chi has helped them rebuild after Typhoon Haiyan.
Compared to the grand deeds that Tzu Chi has helped us in our time of need, doing recycling is just something small.
I'm thankful for having this opportunity. Since we received help in the past, now we can help other people.
Besides the recycling points, the borough head also promotes recycling along the street.
We can clean up Tacloban City while also helping those in need. I'm grateful for everyone's support. They do not forget about Tzu Chi.
They will protect and safeguard the planet's Earth with gratitude in their hearts.
Over 100 students from Ge Zhi Senior High School came to the Tzu Chi Banqiao grounds for lessons on recycling. While there, they've learned that it is up to them to love and protect planet Earth. Let's take a look.
The students try to imitate how to distribute supplies during disaster relief. As if cleaning up the garbage in the ocean, the students learn how the disposable plastic containers can cause great damages to the environment.
We humans really dispose too many plastic bottles. It has contaminated the entire ocean. In the meantime, it's hard for us to deal with these bottles, so it caused environmental contamination as well.
Closing their eyes and meditate. The next round is to stack screws carefully. Stacking 6 screws vertically. Some students could even stack 8 screws. They are very focused in the moment.
I've learned that this game can calm my mind. If I encounter difficulties in the future, as long as I can calm my mind, I will accomplish anything.
To lessen the impact of the global warming, one can start from our dining table. Over 100 students from Ge Zhi Senior High School experienced lessons on recycling, turning their indifference into passions to protect our environment.
Wang Shenchong has been a certified Tzu Chi volunteer for 10 years, and he always remembers the master's commitment to help the underprivileged people. At Liu Yunling, where he lives, he has overcome problems caused by old equipment and unstable internet connection, so the attendees can watch the master's sermons every day.
Before dawn, Wang Shenchong begins his day by watching the sermon.
I'm glad to come here and see the Master every day. Every word or story the Master says is influential to me because it can change my bad habits.
While many people are still asleep, Wang Shenchong has come to the recycling station.
Now the recycling station looks very clean, so when brothers and sisters come here, they will feel pretty good. If the place is filthy, they won't feel at ease.
He always thinks about how to allow all the volunteers to work happily.
This is a way for me and my wife to become closer to each other.
Wang Shenchong also mobilizes his family to do recycling. This is the most blessed moment for his family.
It's like a family factory at my house. We bring home things that can be taken apart or used clothes, and we sort them at home.
They strive together for the same belief.
We're striving forward to get the Ethical Eating Day to be internationally recognized.
If it is a right thing to do, Wang Shenchong never doubts it.
The Ministry of Education has asked Zhejiang University to establish an instrument bank on the internet. For more than a year, they have collected more than 700 instruments and allow schools in remote regions to apply for them. We'll leave you with a performance with these instruments. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.